Every saga needs its villains, but in Star Wars, some are legendary and some are just forgettable. From ruthless Sith Lords to petty gangsters, Star Wars has given us villains of every kind. Today, we're ranking them all from the absolute worst to the unforgettable best.
All remaining systems will bow to the First Order as the last day of the...
And here's where it gets even crazier. A character who should have been terrifying ends up feeling like a running joke. General Hux, played by Domhnall Gleeson, enters the sequel trilogy as the First Order's top military leader. Man, on paper, Hux should have been the next Tarkin, icy, scary, and always 2 steps ahead. Instead, the dude just ends up yelling all the time, trading snarky insults with Kylo like they're rivals on a reality show. Not exactly the menacing vibe he was going for. And that spy twist in The Rise of Skywalker? Blink and you'll miss it. Talk about a letdown. Hux basically sums up all bark, no bite. Have you ever watched a villain and just thought, wow, wasted opportunity? That's Hux. The ambition's there, but the menace? Nah, he left that at home. And then we get Dryden Vos in Solo. At first I thought, finally someone slick and dangerous. The guy rocks fancy suits, has those weird scar things, and just oozes, don't mess with me. Plus Paul Bettany? Always good. But honestly, scratch the surface, and there's not a whole lot going on. He's no Jabba or Darth Maul, that's for sure. Vos is just the flashy guy in the middle, not the real mastermind. When I think iconic Star Wars villain, I want someone who leaves a mark, not a dude who pops up for a couple of cool scenes and then vanishes. I mean, would you even put him above a random stormtrooper officer? I wouldn't.
Must accelerate our plans. Begin landing our troops.
My lord, is that...
All right, let's just get this out there. Newt Gunray and his Trade Federation buddies in The Phantom Menace? Yawn. Their big blockade of Naboo is supposed to kick off a galactic crisis, but man, these guys have all the charisma of a soggy sandwich. Their voices? Straight up cartoonish. Motives? Flimsy as a cheap umbrella in a hurricane. And the intimidation factor? Please. They're basically space accountants who accidentally wandered onto the set of Star Wars. You want legendary villains? These clowns are just stalling until the real bad guys show up. Seriously, the Trade Federation only exists to fill time. Nobody's losing sleep over them. Stack them next to Vader or Palpatine, and they're instantly forgettable, like a pop quiz you flunked in middle school and never thought about again. Now, on to Supreme Leader Snoke. Oh man, what a letdown. When he first pops up in The Force Awakens, the dude looks like he's about to rewrite the whole villain rulebook. Is he Darth Plagueis? Some Sith experiment gone wrong? Fans went wild with theories. Honestly, the hype was half the fun. But then The Last Jedi comes along, and boom, Kylo slices him in half mid-sentence, like he's trimming a hedge. That's it. All that mystery, all that sinister buildup, and he goes out faster than you can say surprise twist. No real backstory, no juicy motivations, just another generic, I want to rule everything baddie. In the end, Snoke's just a speed bump for Kylo Ren. All that buildup, and for what? A villain legacy that fizzled before it even got going. Talk about dropping the ball.
Do you like it that way, or do you wish that you had a little more to talk about?
Well,
Another underwhelming addition is DJ from The Last Jedi, played by Benicio del Toro. On paper, his character had massive potential, a morally gray codebreaker who exposes the galaxy's corruption. But instead of developing him into a nuanced foil for Finn and Rose, the film gives him little more than a stammer and a shallow betrayal. His don't join attitude could have been thought-provoking, challenging the resistance versus empire binary. Instead, DJ vanishes as quickly as he appears, with almost no lasting influence on the story. In a saga where side villains can shine, DJ ends up as one of the most wasted opportunities. Count Dooku should have been one of the most fascinating villains in Star Wars. Played by the legendary Christopher Lee, he had all the tools to be unforgettable. Elegance, intelligence, and a commanding presence. Introduced in Attack of the Clones as a fallen Jedi turned Sith Lord, His story had so much potential. But instead of exploring his turn to the dark side or his leadership of the Separatists, the films barely scratch the surface. His duels with Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Yoda are visually spectacular, but his character development feels rushed. Even his death in Revenge of the Sith is abrupt, serving mostly as Anakin's stepping stone to darker choices. Dooku remains a victim of underutilization, brilliantly cast but never fully realized.
Right here, Jabba.
Jabba the Hutt, man. Everybody knows that disgusting slug. You see him and you're just like, ugh, why is he so slimy? The guy basically oozes sleaze, literally and metaphorically. He's running the show for every scumbag, smuggler, and bounty hunter with a price on their head. Plus, he's got politicians in his pocket. But let's be real, Jabba's kind of like set dressing with a pulse. He isn't some deep, tortured villain, just greed and corruption in a big, wobbly package. He totally owns his scenes in Return of the Jedi, no doubt. But compared to the Sith bigwigs or even Vader, he's just a fat, creepy speed bump. Unforgettable, but not exactly layered. Now, Asajj Ventress, she's criminally underrated. Shows up in the Clone Wars swinging 2 red lightsabers like she's got something to prove. Spoiler, she does. She's Dooku's apprentice, sure, but her real story's where things get wild. Kidnapped, tossed aside, screwed over by both Jedi and Sith. Talk about a rough go. That kind of backstory, way more intense than your standard bad guy of the week. She flips the script and turns into this complex, tragic figure. You almost want to root for her sometimes. Ventress brings actual feelings to the table, not just evil for evil's sake. Honestly, one of the best things to come out of the animated series.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
General Grievous had an incredible design, a cyborg warrior with 4 lightsabers that wowed fans. In the animated Clone Wars, he was ruthless and nearly unstoppable. But in Revenge of the Sith, he became a coughing, fleeing villain. Memorable yet underwhelming, his true menace only shown in animation, making him a missed opportunity. Moff Gideon entered The Mandalorian with commanding presence, black armor, and the darksaber, instantly marking him as a formidable foe. Giancarlo Esposito's calm menace elevated him beyond a typical Imperial officer. Clever and calculating, Gideon intrigued audiences, though limited screen time kept him from reaching the iconic heights of Star Wars' greatest villains.
Capture the droid if we can, but destroy it if we must.
How capable are your soldiers, General?
My men are exceptionally trained, programmed from birth. Careful, Ren.
Kylo Ren stands out as a conflicted Star Wars villain, emotional, volatile, and torn between light and dark. Adam Driver's performance added raw humanity, from his rage to his vulnerable moments with Rey. Though unevenly written at times, his depth and unpredictability made him one of the saga's most layered modern villains. Darth Maul began as pure style, a silent enforcer with a double-bladed lightsaber and fierce design, but little depth. His survival in the Clone Wars and Rebels transformed him into a tragic, complex figure fueled by revenge. This evolution turned Maul from a striking visual into a fully realized, unforgettable Star Wars villain. Man, Boba Fett used to be the definition of less is more. Dude barely said a word, just stood there looking like he could ruin your day without breaking a sweat. The armor, the silence, the whole vibe, pure intimidation. Then bam, the Book of Boba Fett rolls in and suddenly he's chatting, taking off his helmet, making friends with sand people. I mean, what happened to the cold-blooded bounty hunter? Now he's just kind of there. Still cool, but the mystery's gone. At least his look still slaps, and nobody's forgetting his legend anytime soon. Now Thrawn, that guy flips the script on Star Wars baddies. No magic tricks, just brains for days. He's out here analyzing art and pulling off 4D chess moves while everyone else is waving around laser swords. He showed up in Heir to the Empire and then Rebels. And honestly, he's scarier than half the Sith just by thinking 10 steps ahead. Calm and ruthless, and somehow makes blue skin look classy. Proof you don't need a lightsaber to be absolutely menacing.
Some consider to be unnatural.
Honestly, if there's a king of shady scheming in Star Wars, it's got to be Palpatine. The dude didn't just walk in, swinging a lightsaber and flexing his muscles. Nah, he basically played intergalactic chess while everyone else was fumbling around with checkers. He's running both sides of a war from the shadows, which is honestly just showing off at this point. Didn't matter who won, because surprise, it was always him. He totally got inside Anakin's head, poking at his fears like some kind of evil therapist, and he used the Jedi Council's screw-ups against them like the world's most patient grudge holder. Democracy? He hollowed it out from the inside while the galaxy basically threw a parade in his honor. It's actually wild how long he waited. Dude was marinating his evil plans for decades. And that reveal? When he shows up as the Sith Lord pulling all the strings, iconic. One of those, wait, what? Moments in movie history. Even in Return of the Jedi, he almost gets taken out by his own arrogance. Classic villain move. But that only adds to his legend. Okay, yeah, his weird comeback in The Rise of Skywalker was, let's just say, not his finest hour. But still, Palpatine is the dark core of Star Wars. Evil with a PhD in manipulation, proving that sometimes brains beat brawn every time. Look, Darth Vader isn't just your run-of-the-mill bad guy from Star Wars. He's the bad guy. Like seriously, that voice? James Earl Jones could probably make reading the phone book terrifying. And that whole looming, cape-swooshing presence gives you chills, even if you've seen the movies 100 times. But here's the thing people don't talk about enough. It's not just the evil stuff. Vader's a legend because there's actual heartbreak under that helmet. Dude used to be Anakin, the golden boy, the so-called chosen one. He was supposed to save everyone, not, torch the Jedi and go full space fascist. But life comes at you fast. Anakin gets swallowed up by fear, rage, and a super manipulative old wrinkly guy in a hood. Next thing you know, he's fighting his own mentor. That Obi-Wan duel still hurts to watch. Hunting down survivors, basically becoming the galaxy's nightmare. Total monster, right? But then, plot twist, he yanks himself back from the edge at the last possible second. Spends decades being the Emperor's lapdog, and then in the end, tosses him down a reactor shaft just to save his kid. Talk about a redemption arc. What's wild is Vader somehow makes you scared of him, feel bad for him, and respect him. All at once. That's not easy. He's the walking, wheezing heart of Star Wars. The whole light versus dark thing. Loss, hope, screwing up, and trying to make it right. Honestly, Vader isn't just the ultimate Star Wars villain. He's up there with the best in any movie, period. Star Wars villains aren't just enemies. They shape the entire galaxy's story. From Snoke's wasted potential to Vader's legendary legacy, each villain leaves a mark. Whether cunning, tragic, or terrifying, their presence defines the saga. Hit like, share, and subscribe for more epic Star Wars breakdowns and deep dive rankings.